What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Milk Concept. So today we'll be having a different kind of video, basically a fight breakdown. Where I'll be breaking down my second fight that I had at the Dstv festival. Objective number one was basically not to get used as a punching bag on legs. Those of you that watched the first fight would know I got absolutely battered. I got punched in this fight though, but I did some punching back myself, so we'll call it even, I guess. Grab your popcorn. Let's get our mouth guards. Let's do this. Okay, guys, so we are starting off with round one. Immediately I try and implement my new inside leg kick, just a neat trick I picked up from Furkan. As you can see, I immediately go for the legs, but my opponent raised his lead leg just enough to throw me off. I basically do it again, second time at the start of the round, and he basically connects one right down the pipe. One important thing that I want to highlight from that is I tend not to set my kicks up. So I would have to maybe throw a 1-2 punch, like a 1-2 combo, and basically set up an inside leg kick or outside leg kick. Because what tends to happen is I throw the leg kick and my opponent would just like eat it and maybe throw one down the pipe. As you can see in this frame over here, a prime example of what I'm talking about. I throw the leg kick, I connected, but my guard, it's down, it's split. He's just gonna pop me with one jab down the pipe, and he'll probably eat that leg kick any time of the day and just throw me with a solid jab. And I really felt that one. So yeah, that's definitely something that I need to work on going forward. Okay, guys, so for those of you that watched my Tigers video, you would know that I basically worked on a lot of hit movement, slipping shots, weaving on it, and countering. And in this sequence, you'll basically see practice come into play, although there is room for improvement. Like stepping up with my right foot and then banging the body. But that comes with time and experience. And you can just see my opponent giving me a light smile. Can't touch this, can't touch this. That would have sounded so much better if I had the actual song, but you guys get the picture. So moving forward, I'm very happy with the amount of combinations I was able to throw. I had much more volume. I got my opponent to respect me a bit. I was aggressive. I was on the front foot. Not just backpedaling. All of those things. They were just non-existent in the first fight. Always just trying to basically evade my opponent's shots, not throwing anything, just letting him have his way with me. And clearly in this matchup, it's completely different. So we go on to round two. Feeling confident, bouncing around and, just having fun. Oh, and for those of you that were wondering about the socks, yeah, the sun just had no mercy on us today. I challenge anyone of you to step in this ring on a hot day like this and try to kickbox. The last thing that you're gonna be worried about is your opponent throwing punches and kicks your way. You're just gonna be worried about your feet. It felt like we were busy walking on burning coals over here. Yeah, it was unbearable. Um, Hence the reason why we are wearing socks. Just to help ease the strain on our feet. So my front kicks, it's definitely something I need to work on. I should not be hitting down there. I should be hitting right about there and with more power, to push my opponent back, because what happens now is ding ding ding, he hits one right down the pipe. So my opponent proceeds to hit me with a solid jab over here. He follows it up with a good combination. My problem here would be I end up moving backwards in a straight line from the spot over here all the way back till here, when I should have stepped out and changed the angle, make it more difficult for him to basically follow up with more combinations. What I noticed about myself as well, I'm very lazy to check low kicks and block body kicks. I just tend to eat it. I mean, look at this one over here. Yeah, I think that's the one that got me. Yeah, I went home, and it felt like someone hit me with a hammer over my ribs. Yeah, I was out for a few days after that. Yeah, so lesson learned. Alright guys, so we are now at the third and final round. I won't really be breaking down this round because, at this point cardio has left the chat. I mean, cardio leaves the chat. Boxing fundamentals, kickboxing fundamentals, everything just disappears. This is basically the point of the fight where you just in survival mode, just trying to see it through. You can already see, my movement. I'm a lot more stationary, my happy feet's not there. I'm just trying to preserve energy because at this point, I just can't anymore. Yeah, so I was preparing for a fight, but not under this circumstance. Oops, sorry there. Just taking my opponent for a ride. Um, yeah, as I was saying, not really preparing for a fight like this, under the scorching hot sun. My initial second fight got cancelled the day before the time because that fight ended up being in Joburg. So yeah, I took this fight under short notice. Yeah, I didn't have my cameraman with me as well. Hence the reason why the camera quality is a bit inconsistent. But I decided to make do with what I had and just push the content out there. I took about what 2 week break, just to clear my mind, take my time with this video basically, and decide what's next after this because we're pushing out different content now going forward. Not just fighting content. So yeah, stay tuned for what's next, and please guys don't forget to like and subscribe. It goes a long way to helping the channel grow. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. If I missed anything, you know, comment down below how I can improve. Yeah, so thanks guys. See you next time.